Jack Douglas. Hopefully he'll get here soon, but no need to worry too much, because I do have a friend of his here, Mr. Alf Ippititimus. Morning, Alf.
Good morning, Miss Judy.
Right. It's quite nice to see you again. We haven't seen you for a while, Alf.
No, neither have I. It's been quite a while.
I understand you're making a new series.
Yes, so am I. Isn't that funny? Well, yes, the one I'm doing is a sitcom, which we've actually made... You're all right?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're very jumpy, aren't you? And I actually have made an Alf series down in the West Country, so we've turned it into a video, and we're hoping we can get it on the air. You sure you're all right?
I'm just...
Yes. You got indigestion, have you?
Sorry, just a little bit. Yes,
it's all right.
So, who's in this sitcom with you then?
Well, we have a different guest, the idea, each week. You're doing show 4, by the way, did I tell you?
No.
Yes. But in the first one, it's Miss Liz Fraser. She did the pilot.
Yeah.
And we made a 7-minute pilot, called a mini pilot, you see. And it's going to hopefully to the networks, and if they like it, it's on the air. It's that old-fashioned stuff, comedy without muck.
Oh, that'll be nice. But you made it in the West Country.
So did we, yes.
Yeah. And you made a record once, didn't you, Alf?
I did as well. Yes. Down upon the Swahili River.
Would you like to hear that now?
I would as well.
Why does love just pass me by? Girls from me, they seem to fly. But if you're sad and sitting by yourself, send for me, love, Alf. By the way, I'm 6'3½", extremely attractive, with a rugged exterior. I weigh 14 stone 7 pounds in me socks, and 14 stone without them. Oh, and I've just won the pools. Hey, what are you playing at? Here, get out of it. No, don't mischief. I only won the 12th dividend, 3 a night for halfpenny. Hey, what do you think you're playing at? Get off me. Here, get the police. Help.
Oh, what a wonderful record there from Mr. Alf Ippititimus.
You know how to spell that, don't you?
I do. Hopefully I'll
2 ips, a pip and a tittimus.
Well, I'm also very pleased to have been joined by Mr. Jack Douglas, who has got here through the traffic.
Oh, you finally got here then? Yes, so did I. Thank you, Alf, and goodbye. Oh, very well then.
Thanks, Alf.
Goodbye, Judy. Thanks for the... thank you, Alf. Goodbye. Good morning, Judy.
Good morning, Jack. Now, you two have been together an awfully long time, haven't you?
Yes, we have. It's... never wanted to let go of Alf, and I never have. So I safeguarded his early career by turning down an awful lot of work so that Alf is still around now, because I love doing it.
How was he born? Remind me.
Well, Joe Baker and I were at Clacton, and Joe Baker used to come from the front of house dressed as a little boy, and I used to do a dirty old conjurer called, not similar to Alf, but very mucky and all soot-stained, but not with a twitch. And I said, is there any lady, gentleman, little boy who'd like to come up on the stage? And there wasn't. They'd locked the doors because the theatre was full and Joe couldn't get in. So I see nobody coming up, moment of fear and trepidation. So I turned behind me, there was a load of rubbish on a tray, and I said, in the meantime, I'll show you a conjuring trick. Up it went in the air. I honestly, Judy, couldn't believe the laugh that it got. And now the scene is that Joe Baker has kicked the door in and is running down the aisle. And as he's running down, he's looking because he can hear people falling about with laughter. And when he got on the stage, he said, what are they laughing at? I said, this, 2.5 way. And, of course, he reacted, and that's how Alf was born.
Amazing. Because you were more or less a kind of a stooge to begin with.
Straight man,
straight man.
Yes, that's all right.
No, sorry.
I'll let it go this time.
And you straight-manned for Dave King.
That's right, yes. For most of them, actually, I was very lucky. And I remember going to my agent, the late Leslie Grade, and saying I'd like to become a comedian. And he looked at me long and hard and said, but you don't look funny. I said, well, I think I can be funny. He said, no, you got 2 years work in the book, which I had as a straight man. And so I said, well, if I can't, I'll leave the business. So I actually did leave the business and opened a restaurant in Blackpool. And it was Des O'Connor who got me back. Rang me at 2:30 in the morning and said, do you want to come back in the business? I said, yes. So he said, start next week, 13 programmes for ATV. And that was 12 years later. Des and I agreed to go our separate ways.
Oh, thank you very much. I had a booking for that night that you decided to give up in the restaurant.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, that was the Friday.
Yeah.
Yes, what a shame.
Thank you very much.
You'd have enjoyed the fish.
So it was... People would have it that the split was sort of acrimonious with Des, but it wasn't, was it?
No. I believe that there was an article in one of the papers about Des and I, and the reason we split up was because I was getting too many laughs. And the greatest respect, and I mean this sincerely, hand on heart, for anybody that I have is for Des, because he allowed me to get as many laughs as I possibly could, and never once tried to top me. And that was 12 years in pantomime, summer shows, films, television. And then he said to me one day, he said, you know, we are becoming a double act. He said, I would like to become a single person and do what I want to do. And he said, and he forecast my career, Judi, completely. He said, you will go back to directing, which I am doing. You will go back to writing, which I am doing. You will become a straight actor, which I have done. He said, and you'll still be doing Alf. And of course that was true.
When does the autobiography come out then, Jack?
Well, how did you know about that? I'm actually writing that at the moment. I was at the typewriter from 10 o'clock yesterday morning until 5:30 last night, trying to remember all the things and clean them up, of course.
That happened this week, in fact.
Yes. And I'm also writing a cookery book at the same time. I'm bone idle, you probably gathered that.
Yeah, I can tell that. Here's a man who might agree with you when it comes to writing books. Could I just say, Harry, that if you're going to sing on this programme, could you be on time?
Certainly.
He was out the room when we needed him. I'm joined in the studio by Mr. Jack Douglas. Jack, we can't talk to you without talking about carry-on films. How many did you do?
9.
9.
Yeah.
You didn't get paid for the first one, did you?
Well, it was very funny. My agent actually rang me, Michael Sullivan, and said to me, do you want the good news or the bad news? So I said, the good news. He said, you're in the next Carry On picture. I said, oh, great. What's the bad news? He said, you're not getting paid. And I said, why? He said, well, they've budgeted the movie, they've cast it, and they've finished it. But I've talked them into letting you do one little clip in the maternity home. And 2 days later, black Rolls-Royce drives up to my cottage. Out gets the chauffeur with a case, comes up the drive, says, Mr. Douglas, this is for you. And on the top, it's welcome to the Carry On team. This is your first salary. And there were a dozen bottles of Dom Perignon, 1969 champagne. So I was launched in champagne. And from then, I did 8 movies after that.
You've still got a bottle of that, haven't you?
Yes, I have, tucked
you
away.
Mean so tucked. Never cracked it when I've been round.
I will save it for when you come to dinner, Miss Spiers.
Now, I understand for the first time you're all getting paid when the carry-ons are being shown again.
Yes, it's rather a strange thing. It was what they called a buyout contract for a movie. So, of course, we never got paid for any repeats. But nowadays, of course, what's happened is they've sold 13 half hours that we made for Thames to a video company who's putting them out on video. So we actually get paid. It's rather nice, rather novel.
Oh, does that mean we've got to pay you now if we play a little
Funny
of
you
it?
should say that.
Oh, well, we'll pay it anyway.
Cash.
You up there. What's your name?
Oh, ready, sir.
Ready? Ready, willing, and able. This is ridiculous. What are you doing? Twitching, sir! I can see that, Sergeant Major, but why is he twitching?
Got paid! It's me word. It's me It's me nerve, sir.
Trying to twitch your ticket, eh? Well, it won't work, Bombardier. You're in the army for the duration. Twitch your way out of that. Right! Twitch off!
Jack Douglas there. Now, which carry-on was that?
That was Carry On England, and that was the voice of Windsor Davies, Sergeant Major, and Kenny Connor.
I liked, you did Carry On Laughing, where you played Lord Peter Flimsy.
Oh, yes.
The Case of the Coughing Parrot.
That's right, yes.
Oh.
That was pure luck, you know, because that was Sid's part. And Sid was extended in a run of a play in Australia. And
Sid James?
Yes, sorry. And Gerald Thomas came to me and said, you're playing the lead in that. And I went, oh.
Wonderful.
It was lovely. I did enjoy it.
Mentioning Sid Field was a great influence on you, wasn't he?
Yes, very much so. I think that to find a comic who had the whole of not only this country, but America as well, in the palm of his hand, and who never, ever did one blue joke, like Laurel and Hardy never did. And I think that's an achievement. It's too easy to use filth on the air or on the screen. And those who don't have great respect from me, and Sid was one. You loved Sid Field when he walked on the stage. It was an straight away. Then he made you laugh.
Didn't you write a musical about him?
So did I, yeah. And I wrote it, I suppose nearly 20 years ago. But I've never done it because I've never found anybody who's got the same impact as Sid Fields, because a lot of people don't know Sid today. So therefore, the comic, whoever played him, would have to walk on that stage and go, pow! And that ain't easy, to be an actor and a comic as well. So up to now, it's sitting on my shelf. I hope to do it one day. I'd love to.
Would you direct it as well?
Yes.
Because you started directing when you were about 15, didn't you?
Exactly, Phil. My 15th birthday, my father gave me a script of Dick Whittington. And I said, what's this for? He said, you're directing your first pantomime at the Empire Theatre, Sunderland, with Dorothy Ward, Sean Grenville, Albert Burden and G.H. Eliot. Between them, about 400 years of show business. And I walked in at 15. I thought, how do I get through to these people? And Albert Burden was actually half an hour late for rehearsal. When he walked in the door, I gave him the biggest telling off of his life. And everybody forgot how old I was and immediately went, we've got to write one here. So I never had any problem.
Do you want to hear a bit of Sid Field?
Oh, I'd love to.
Oh, go on then, we'll play a bit.
Sid! Sid! Yes, all right, I'm coming. You'll get me at some things you do. Golfing now.
Well, never mind about that. Come on, can you see your ball anywhere?
Oh, it's gone round here somewhere. You gave it a very good knock, though.
Yes, didn't I? Look, here's a girl coming. Ask her.
Pardon me, miss. Did you see a ball round here?
Yes.
Big help. I don't know what we'd have done without her. However...
Never mind, Sidney, my boy. I shall have you playing good golf inside a couple of days.
What are you talking about me playing good golf inside a couple of days? I was 78 yesterday.
Did you?
Yes, I'm doing the next hole tomorrow.
Oh, Sid Field there. Jack, at the moment, I know you're involved in the Crime and Mystery Festival.
Yes.
Shots in the Dark.
Yes.
Tell me about that.
Well, they asked me if I would go up to the festival at Nottingham because they're doing a carry-on section, one of the compilations. And would I talk about it and answer questions? So I said, yes, I would love to. So that's it. Up I go to Nottingham, stand there. Next question, please. But I like that.
Yeah?
Yes, I love doing that.
And what about the cookery series? I know when you came on Pebble Mill once, you frightened the life out of me. I asked you, we were doing a bit of cookery, and I asked you to chop up an onion or something, and you produced a Bowie knife from behind your back.
What a memory you've got. Yes, that's quite true. Excuse me. I've always worked with that Bowie knife because it is so easy to be able to just put your hand down by the side of you and bring out a large knife that will actually chop, that will go through bone or anything, which a Bowie knife will. And yet you can also slice a mango with it easily, and it's there in your right hand. But when I went to America to do a cookery show, I went through customs. It was impounded. And they had to get me another one over there. And then when I came back through customs, it was given back to me.
Mad fool.
Yes, I know.
Carrying a Bowie knife around with
Yeah.
you. So when are we going to see you on our screens again? When's all this coming to fruition then?
Well, it's in the lap of the gods. I mean, so I think that the comedy has done its full cycle and is now coming back to the sort of comedy that we all used to do. I think that Morecambe Wise, with 11.5 million viewers, told us an awful lot about what the public want to see. I think the Tommy Cooper shows, also Steptoe and Son, Dad's Army. You know, I think that people in charge must take a leaf out of the books and say, well, maybe the public wants to see comedy that's clean and funny and family. That's an old-fashioned
Well, I'd
word,
love to
family.
see you back on the screens with Alf, who, by the way, is pouring you a cup of coffee over there.
Alf, I'm just going to wait.
Oh.
No, Alf has just christened the wall with a cup of coffee. Thanks,
dear.
Alf. I'll have one later.
Well, we'll sluice that wall down, but thank you so much for joining me this morning, Jack Douglas. And Alf, no, leave it, Alf, please.
Pardon?